So anyhow, we had come up with a name that I said was called by White Boy John from the hotel. And I saw the name that had rented this car at the time. Okay, that's the car. That's the car we're looking for. It's got to be, right? So we asked it, who's got the car now? It was rented. It was, rented to somebody else. And it was in the neighborhood in Brooklyn.
Disregard those bullet holes in the back seat.
Well, that's what happens.
We'll give you a discount.
We go there and we speak to the people. Hey, listen, that's your rental car out there. We got to take it. Well, what happened? Just take your stuff out. We got to take it. We look at the car and it's got the Bondo. It's got holes in it and it's got stains in it and something went wrong in the car. It's our car.
Is there a discount to rent the murder car?
Yeah, right.
I'll take the murder car.
You don't see this on a Hertz commercial.
No. This car was previously used in a murder. Rented for a 25% discount.
Right. So so we believe it's the car. We take it. They give it to us basically. We bring it to the 6-1, call crime scene, and boom, pop the trunk, blood in it, ballistics, the whole show's in it. The blood turns out to be our victim's blood. So we speak to this person who rented the car. Oh, wait, I didn't have it. My friend, White Boy John, asked me to do it. And then it came back and I saw what happened. I said, oh my God, I didn't know what to do and all this stuff. So he was a thinker, this guy. So he happened to be in Cancun during spring break and he met some other guy from the neighborhood who had a body shop on Cropsey Avenue. So they became friends. So we said, hey, so he said, hey, I had this rental car and something went wrong in it. Can you fix it for me? So his buddy, fixed it for him, but he didn't fix it good enough. Fixed it good enough to get the car returned and used again, but he didn't.
He gave the Sheepshead Bay job on it.
No, he didn't get the full. Should have went for the platinum package. He should have went for the wise guy package.
That's right.
You find nothing.
The guy from Pulp Fiction, the Wolf.
Yes.
He fix anything.
Yeah, right. So, so now we got him saying who we rented the car to, and then we spoke to the body shop guy and all that, and it came in by this guy, and I fixed it. I didn't know, whatever. So we had a lot of information coming in. We had pretty much everything. With any case, you always want a confession, but this case we weren't going to get one because we couldn't speak to him. But we did have an eyewitness. We had physical evidence to corroborate everything.
There's really powerful physical evidence too.
Yes.
He's in the car. His blood's in the car. There's ballistics in the car. Did you ever get the gun? Did you ever get the rifle?
No, that's one thing we didn't get, and nobody knew. I think if he would have told somebody what happened to it, that somebody that we came in contact with, we would have found it. No one ever said, oh, he told me he dumped the gun in the ocean. I want to think we did have Harbor maybe do a little bit of a look around the bridge.
So Harbor, you threw a little bone to Harbor.
A little Harbor, yeah, come on out, Drag the magnet around.
Come on, guys, come on, bring your boat out here.
Yeah. So we got them on the show. You know what? Now that I think of it, we did have Harbor come out. So you get a little credit there, Donnie. Sorry about that. So I mean, we had the case pretty much, wrapped up. We did have an issue with the time with the ME, but all this information, added up, and we had it pretty good. Now there was a little tidbit that came on a little later on too, which was pretty good. Out of the other phone calls, we answered pretty much all out. A few of them were like for call, Craigslist call girls, come up to the hotel, do your thing type thing. But there was another girl, appeared somewhat legitimate, who lived in Marine Park. She lived above a pharmacy on Quentin Road. And that apparently was one of his girlfriends, one of his steady girlfriends. Yeah. And there were some phone calls to her and also some calls to, a car service or a limo service in Sheepshead Bay. So we went over to the car service, speak to him. And it's, we get there, there's a, big guy at the door, no neck, big square head guy, I tell him what detectives, big hands, but not like that, but big hands, like big everything, come in, you must speak to boss, okay. And we go into this place, which is like an unassuming storefront, but when you go in, you're like, everything's marble, fountains. It's one of those type of places.
Yeah.
You know? So I'm saying to my partner, I'm saying this is either going to be great or we're not going to come out the same way we walked in. You know, it's one of those places. But we go there, we speak to the owner, and he's on top of everything. And he says, listen, he goes, yes, that girl does work here. And you know what? She does work here. And we, you know, she works the switchboard. We do a limo service to people that want, you know, need rides to wherever. And we record our phone calls. So what do you mean? He goes, no, every call that comes into the base is recorded. Well, like, you're kidding me, you know? All right, what about this one? Yeah, okay. So he hits the button, and it's white boy John and this girl talking on the phone. And he's telling her about how he killed Alex. And she's like, you're full of shit. It said in the paper that he was stabbed. Now, going back to the day we found the body, the investigator had said apparent stab wounds, put it on the unusual, went out to a DCPI, and it was a little thing in the police blotter or whatever, stabbed.
Right.
And he's basically saying, fuck you, that paper's bullshit. I told you I killed him. I shot him with my M1 or M16. I told you I shot him 10 times.
Yeah.
That paper's bullshit. So with that, boom, now you know, we're all good. You know, everything's good.
Wow.
So really the case that really started out with a lot of these cases, and like we call them dump jobs because, you know, it didn't happen at the thing. The body was dumped and whatever. Like I do, again, it is a human being, and that's the most important thing. So when I say I like these cases or it's a great case, I mean that from an investigative standpoint,
Sure.
not a personal standpoint. But I do like working those cases a lot better than a fresh case, and I've had success with them.
Was the DA happy with all of
the DA? Yes, the DA was great. Stephen Murphy had the case. He was with the DA's office at the time. Great DA. And he, you know, he was, you know, always, you know, helpful with us. We needed a subpoena, whatever we needed, he was there. And he wound up, you know, being assigned a case at some point, and he wound up prosecuting the case.
Okay.
Which, oddly enough, first time around, it's a hung jury.
I was just going to bring that up. You know, like people that don't do this for a living, they would think that this is a slam dunk. This guy should plead guilty.
Yeah.
And to think that with all the evidence you had, eyewitnesses, and it was a hung jury. Like, how did that happen? How could that happen?
Well, you know what they say, it only takes one, you know?
Yeah.
You know, and, you know, so I don't know, but it was one holdout. But we did get a retrial, which really in Brooklyn, I've never really heard of many retrials. Yeah. But the case was so, you know, tight, and, you know, the DA's office agreed to do it again because they believe so strongly in his guilt, which, you know, like you said, there was a tremendous, from nothing, from a case that could have just went nowhere, even if we found the victim's name, but we really were able to, based on that holy grail, a piece of paper, we were able to move through things. And about 6 months, you know, 6 months later, we dropped, you know, you drop paper, and then the trial went on and stuff like that. Right. The retrial, he got convicted and got his 25 to life. So
what a great first homicide for that detective.
Yes.
You know, I mean, he had to have learned a ton doing that case because, you know, people think when you tell this story, they may think like, oh, that was so easy. You know, when you tell the story, it sounds easy, but you know, it's never easy, right?
No, well, you know, it's one thing finding a witness, and then, you know, when we found the Spanish girl in Bushwick, well, was she going to talk? Right. You know, you could find her. She could say, I don't know what you're talking about. He called me. Yeah, he tells me he loves me. He hangs up. Right. You know, then what? So everything, you know, it sounds smooth, and a lot of it did go smooth, but it's not as easy as that. There are steps you got to take, and you can't just, you know, you got to approach people a certain way and deal with, you know, either a lack of caring by the witness or the subject, or they're afraid, or there's a number of things. So you have to take that all into account when you speak to, you know, people, witnesses.
But you know, also in soliciting information, it's how you do it. You know, it is that old Yiddish word schmooze, right?
Yes, right.
Schmooze people, right?
Yeah,
And that's a key to getting information, whether it's an interview or an interrogation. Even if someone's going to confess to something,
right,
they have to like the person they're confessing to.
right, right.
I
Yes,
mean, you've seen that a million times, right?
yes, yes.
Guys, they hate a detective in the room, and they'll say, "I'll tell you, get him out of the room."
Yeah, right,
Hey,
right.
get out of here, get out,
Yeah,
right? Yeah, I'll kick him the hell out of the room. So
right.
tell me, right?
That's right.
So
No, whatever, you know.
there is a definite way that you get information, right?
Yes. You know, we had, like I said, the blueprint, but we still had to go out there and make it happen and track stuff down. And she was very good, you know, the detective. She wound up going, staying in the squad for a while, went to the 7-0 squad, did well for herself. But yeah, no, it was a great first case because she got to do a little bit of everything, except for the actual, you know, interrogation or interview of the perpetrator. Everything else came in, and it worked out to be a really good case again. And, you know, we were able to bring the family some closure and get, you know, explain to them what happened and why it happened. And really the victim, although he had brushes with the law, he didn't deserve anything near this.
No.
There wasn't anything you could put your finger on. You know what? You know, a lot of these guys, a lot of these cases, what goes around comes around. There was really no need for this. This was just some kid. He came from Gerritsen, which is pretty much a blue-collar neighborhood. But his family had money. They owned a business. They had a big house there and stuff. And
Right.
he was just trying to be somebody he wasn't. And, you know, and this kid paid for it, you know. It's a shame, you know.
That white boy John guy, he was really like he seemed like he was just like trying to show off in front of this girl.
Yes.
And
I don't blame him, but I would have went about it a different way. You know what I mean?
yeah.
You know, I mean, she was a very pretty girl. He was a very pretty girl, and I get it. But, you know, I don't know if I, you know, wanted to be with a girl. I don't know if committing a murder in front of her would be the way I'd want to, you know.
Isn't that how you confess, Joe?
What are you doing for the rest of your life? What are you doing next Saturday?
Ride with me. I'm going to kill somebody and kill you.
Yeah, wait till you see next date and see what happens. Huh?
Well, Mike, this was fascinating.
Yes.
Even though, you know, it's good for people when they listen to these real crime stories. You hear how you develop things from almost from nothing.
Yes.
Like you said, this case took 6 months, 9 months to put together, you know, and then the trial was a mistrial and you had to do it all over again. You know?
Yeah.
So it's so important that you dot your I's and cross your T's, you know?
Yes. Yeah. No, it worked out. In the end, it worked out for everybody, you know?
You know, and never overlook any little bit of evidence because you think, we got enough evidence.
Yes. No, you never do.
You know,
witnesses can recant. People, I never said that. The detectives made me say that. A lot of things happen once, you know, once the defense attorneys, investigators get a hold of people and stuff, they twist things around, and you know how that goes, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think he just got it in over his head a little bit there, Mr. And his name, oddly enough, which why we called it the Stawberry Fields case.
Why was that?
Why? Well, the perpetrator's name is John Lennon.
Oh, I didn't know his last name.
Yes,
I just knew
John Lennon, yes.
I just knew it as White Boy John.
Yes.
It's funny. There's always some humor into this stuff, and
yeah,
we have a macabre sense of humor. But Stawberry Fields case, I was wondering why I didn't know the guy's last name.
Yeah. So that's
I knew him as White Boy John. That was good enough for me. You
Yeah,
know?
no, he tried to be a gangster, and he just.
I love that John Gotti quote, and I heard it's
yes.
Everybody wants to be a gangster until it's time to do gangster things, right?
Yeah, right. And it just went wrong. You know, It was in over his head. Unfortunately, you know, he took somebody's life. But I don't know what to say.
It's always fascinating to people. Also, they don't do this. The guy who rented the car, he never called the police either.
No.
He had no intention. He would have lived his whole life, and you know.
Yeah, meanwhile, people like, you know, me and you might be, you know, we might have like, okay, fix the car and bring it back, but we would have slept for 3 months, thinking the cops could have come in the door any day now.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know?
exactly. It's just about their
But
life. You know?
just another day in Brooklyn, I guess, you know?
Girl doesn't, she witnesses a murder, doesn't report it. But when you come to see her, she'll tell you what happened.
Right. Right. That's it. You got to go out and get it. Nobody's coming in.
There's no morals.
No.
Anyway, Mike, this was fascinating. A great, great, great case. You got anything you want to plug? Anything you want to say to our audience?
Well, I want to thank you again for, let me come on, tell a little story.
I'll probably pull
And,
your ass in again. You know, I know you got more stories than this. You know,
yeah, no, I got a few here and there.
you got a few more. 30 years of police work. You got to have more stories, right?
Yes, no, I know.
These are great stories. Anyway,
Yeah.
again,
And most of them are true too, Bill.
I hope so, man. If you made that up, then we need to get you down to Hollywood and just tell these stories.
No.
Make them up for these people, you know?
No, but yeah. So again, thank you, and to all the guys out there, all law enforcement brothers and sisters. God bless you guys and girls. Stay safe. You're doing God's work, especially in these times. It's rough. So hang in there, do the right thing, and everybody, hope everybody stays safe. And thanks again, Bill. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Mike. And I'm Bill Cannon for Police Off the Cuff, and this has been Real Crime Stories with retired detective Mike Hinrichs. Thanks again, Mike.
All right, Bill. I'll see you. Take care.